Good evening, YouTubers. I hope I find you well. For the past two videos, I've been talking about invest. Today, we're going to talk about invest in what exactly. The thing I've been talking about and trying to get you to do is to invest in assets. And what exactly are assets? The dictionary says an asset is a useful thing or person. I myself personally say an asset is something that you use to get more assets. Or as in the street we would say, try to take $1 and try to make it two. So who shall we look up to? Who's the person who's getting the most assets? Well, let's look at Jeff Bezos. He's the richest man in the whole world, according to our friend the internet. Jeff is the richest man and is worth 190 billion. I'll repeat that. Jeff Bezos is the richest man and he is worth 190 billion. This is according to the internet. And he owns 11.1% shares of Amazon. The second richest person in the whole world is Bill Gates. Bill Gates is worth 98 billion and he owns 1.36% of shares in Microsoft. The third richest person is the Arnold family, and they're worth 76 billion and they own shares in LVMH. Now, for the three names that I've mentioned, there's one common theme that has been going through. Own shares in Amazon, own shares in Microsoft, own shares in LVMH. The common thread there is owning shares. Now, me being a thinking person, I'm probably thinking at this point, oh, okay, so how do I get to own shares? And the good news is this: you can own shares. Everybody can own shares. And where can you find these shares? Or where can I buy some shares? Here in UK, you can get shares on the London Stock Exchange. In America, on the Nasdaq. In Italy, there's the Italian Stock Exchange. Wherever you are in the world, I guarantee you, there's a stock exchange where you can buy and sell shares. Now, the next thing I'll be asking myself is, okay, what are shares or stock? Stock or shares represents ownership of a company. Each share is worth a percentage of the company. I'll repeat that. Stock or shares represent ownership of a company, and each share is worth a percentage of the company. And which means if you own shares in a company, you're part owner of the company. I'll give a simplified example, but I'm really simplifying things. So let's say you start a company and you sell apples, and your apples are quite popular. People like to munch on your apples. Okay, and you decide, okay, I want to expand my business. I need to reach more customers. Maybe I need to buy a bicycle, and you don't have that money to buy a bicycle, and you approach me. Maybe I'm your brother or cousin, whatever. So you approach me and you pitch me this business idea. Say, look, my apples are quite popular and I know there's some people over there who want to buy my apples. So if you can give me 500 or 50 pounds, then you own 50% of the company. So we're assuming that there's two shares. I own half of the company, so I own 50%, and then you own the other half of the company. You own the other 50%, and that's a company right there. So the apple seller owns 50% of the company. The person who's loaning the money owns 50% of the company. So we each have one share of the company. So if the whole company would be worth two shares, one person who sells the apples has one 50% of the company, and the other person who's investing now owns 50% of the company. And that's a simplified way of explaining what shares are. Okay, so in a company, the company wants to make money, and you buying the shares, you want to make money. So there's unity of purpose. Now we're working. So they want to make money, you want to make money, and you're both on the same journey trying to achieve the same thing. You need to get some shares. Now, how do you buy these named shares? The way you can access shares is on investment platforms. And where do you find these investment platforms? You can find investment platforms online, or sometimes there are even apps on the phone. I myself use Hargreaves Lansdown, of which I'll leave a link at the bottom of the video, just in case you want to join. And just to make your way, once you do join with my link, I might get some money. Not a bad thing. But whether you want to use my link or not really doesn't matter to me. I'll keep making my money. But if you're interested in it, it's a platform that's trusted, and I've used it and I trust it, and lots of other people have used it. So it's always best to go with the platforms that are trusted and have been used by other people. So I use Hargreaves Lansdown. And the next discussion that we're going to have on this my page is we're going to be discussing these investment platforms, and we'll be comparing different price schemes and the advantages and disadvantages of joining different ones, and basically just trying to give you an idea of how to get into this investment thing. And just in case you need clarification of anything, or if you want me to explain anything, just leave comments in the comment section. I promise I'll read it, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And if you just want to leave any comments, I'll try to read them. But yeah, so the next video will be about the investment platforms and what you need to do, what mistakes to try to avoid. All these things I'll be talking about is things that I've done personally, and hopefully you can learn from my experiences or from my victories and from my losses, and hopefully you won't have to go through that same nonsense that I went through. So hopefully by following me on this channel, I'll give you sort of like a fast forward version, so you don't have to go down the pitfalls that I went through as well. But like most things, I can only show you the way, and it's up to you to choose the path. So subscribe, look out for the next video, and take care of yourselves out there.